Okay, I wanted to answer some questions on these sliding sleeves that I make. Alright, I do get some questions on these, different questions, so I'm going to go over them, show you a couple things that'll make these easier to use. There's two different sizes. There's one is 7 to 12 inches, and then the other one is 13 inches to 24 inches. Okay, so this is the larger one here. All right, you'll notice it has an ear with a plastic knob, threads in and out. That's how it's going to attach to the side. Also has a wing nut on top. This is how you're going to adjust the sleeve in and out this way. Okay, it slides in and out. All right, you also see there is a steel sleeve. This sleeve here, the reason I used the steel was so that there's not such a big gap between the plastic and the sleeve. Okay, if I used anything else, if I used plastic, I'd have to go thicker to get the strength. I tried to think of a couple other things, but at this point, the steel seems to be the easiest and it's the strongest. Okay, so a couple things. I try to keep this down, the gap here, as tight as possible. Okay, some of them you'll see when you get them, there's a washer. Okay, and it's hard to see on the camera. You'll see a washer. If I get it at the right angle. All right, there's a washer inside of there. Okay, you can see it right here. All right, that washer, that's a spacer. Okay, if there's a big gap on the bottom, which this one had kind of a big gap, and I'll show you, I can show you right here. Take this out. Okay, I slide this sleeve out. I'll take the washer off. I'll tighten it up, and you'll see the gap. There's a pretty decent sized gap here. So I put a washer in there. It'll fit right in there. Okay, you see quite a big gap there. That washer on the top will take that and push this plastic sleeve down, and it'll make the gap not so big. So that's why I use the washer. All right. So we put the washer on there. So if you get one of these and the gap on the bottom is a little bigger than you want, you may be able to put a washer right in here and it'll take that space up. Another thing, when you loosen the wing nut, okay, that's how you're going to slide the sleeve in and out, and that's what's going to lock it to the steel sleeve, okay, so it won't pull out. When you loosen this, just loosen it a little bit. If you loosen it too much, what happens is the bolt head down in the slot, it gets too loose. And what happens is when you pull on it, it twists it like that in the slot, just a little bit, and it's going to make it hard to pull the plastic sleeve out, okay? I'm going to show you the easiest way to pull these in and out. I'm going to actually move the camera for you. So I'm going to go right down here. Okay. The easiest way to pull these out is one hand here. Like I said, you just loosen that up just a little bit, just enough so it slides. All right, put one hand on the steel and then slide this out. You also want to be putting wax, paste wax. All right, min wax. Move the camera a little bit. All right. Min wax, paste wax, works pretty well. Johnson's paste wax also works well. Just take a rag, put a little bit on a rag, and that's even way too much. All right, make sure these steel sleeves, you keep wax on them. All right, epoxy will stick to raw steel. All right, you want to make sure this is waxed. Wax the plastic. You also want to make sure you get wax down in the groove, okay? If you don't put wax in there, it's not going to slide that easy. You keep the wax in the groove and all along the top, this is going to slide a lot easier. And notice, I got this opened up real far. When I push it, right there, it bound up. All right? When I take and just loosen it a little bit, right there, I can slide this in and out and it doesn't bind. Okay? So keep some paste wax, wax the groove. Make sure the sleeve is a lot of wax on it. Okay? The more coats, the better. The easier it's going to release. Another thing. You're going to caulk. You're going to caulk these seams. Okay? That's how it's going to prevent the epoxy from running down inside here. If this runs down, if the epoxy runs inside the sleeve, you're going to need a cutoff wheel to get your table out. Okay? Because there's going to be no way you can get this out once the epoxy fills up in the sleeve. So you want to prevent the sleeve from filling up with epoxy. All right, so what I do, I'll lay this right here. I take silicone, okay, just regular silicone. You can use clear, black. Black's a little nicer. You can see where you've already siliconed. All right, I just take, once I find my size, okay, I got this all set up. I tighten my wing nuts, okay, these are tight. It's not moving in and out. Then what I do is I just, along the edge of here, I just put silicone. Okay, I go right down the side. You don't need to do the top because you're not going to pour the table higher than this, okay? This is actually going to be sticking up above the form. You'll never be able to pour a table above the top of the sleeve. All right, and then I just take my hand, my finger, make sure this is nice and sealed. I like to use 30-minute caulk, okay? Actually, if you use the 30-minute caulk, you can get this set up and you can pour, you know, relatively quickly after you do this. So I actually like the 30-minute. All right, so you seal that all up just like that. And you do the other side. And then you're ready to pour. So that's all it is to these sleeves, okay? So I just wanted to answer some questions on them. Hope that helps. And hopefully that answered some questions of how they work and a couple tips and tricks on how to use them. So thank you for watching.